Everybody, welcome back. Welcome here. Welcome to Some Nobodies. I am Zach. This is Dylan over here to my left, or your right, unless you're looking in a mirror. I don't really know how computers screen. So this way over here. Anyway, we are Some Nobodies. This is our website up top here. And what we do is we just create content. We try to make things that we haven't seen before. Really, honestly, if I had to be honest about it, we're just trying to sell out. We just want to create enough content where Disney Plus or Hulu or Amazon or Peacock or whatever Voodoo is or
whatever. Someone with money.
Yeah, we just have a lot of ideas and we like to put them together and use a whiteboard and show everyone how we create weird stuff such as Silicon Angels, which you guys might have heard. That was our very first creation that we kind of put out there. Silicon Angels, if you don't know about it, it is a audio drama kind of found footage style about people that find some, I guess, help calls from an IT department for sex robots, like whatever. Like it's a sex robot help shop and the trials and tribulations that those people have to go through. Maybe you heard us on a podcast show where we make fun of very bad podcasts. We are aficionados of bad podcasts. We've created enough now that we know that. Or maybe you just watch our regular show on Sundays, Talking UpStream, where we have guests and we rely on them to make these decisions for us. Either way, if you're here and you're listening anytime or watching this, thank you very much. We appreciate it. And all we really do is just me and Dylan hanging out here until we get more people in the chat. And at any time, if you're watching this and you want us to swerve the story or have a cool idea for how a story should alter, just throw it in the chat. Let us know. Say something to us. Text Dylan. He'll put his number up on screen right now.
Hold on.
Okay, cool. Eventually he will. Anyway, and before we get some more people in the chat so we can make a bigger, weirder story, I like to go through some nerd news because Dylan won't respond to my text messages when I try to ask him stuff about media. So I get him live on TV and we chat about it. So Marvel news first. WandaVision, right? We're super into that. It's the show that we're all into. Yeah, a couple things I want to talk to you about that. Number one, they recently put out a Popco of Pietro Maximoff. And for some reason, all right, put us back. All right. There we go. Thank you.
There you go.
For some reason, it is the first time that Pop put something in quotes. So do you think McManhattan? Hello. Tim B. Siegel. Hello. Private. On a private message. That's fine. I'll still say it out loud. You honestly don't listen to that. You can always text Dylan. But yeah, the Popco figure of Pietro Maximoff. Why do you think Popco put that out in quotes?
I think it's just a matter of time until they reveal why it's not him. I'm going to reiterate what I said last week. I think I said it last week, where most people who are watching WandaVision are probably aware that this is based off a very famous kind of comic book plot. And I think a lot of people aren't waiting to learn what's happening, but how it's happening.
Okay. Another popular theory that's going on right now is that Ultron is kind of behind all of this. Obviously, the twins made their debut in Age of Ultron. And do you think there's any chance Hayward is Ultron? Now, there is a pretty famous comic line where, and a cartoon also, where Ultron takes the form of a human, gets into S.H.I.E.L.D., and kind of messes up stuff with the Avengers. Do you think Ultron is in this at all?
That would be interesting. Apparently, I heard from a friend of ours that on screen at one point you can see, like, I think it's called Project Cataract. And a cataract is when your vision is off. So there are some people who think this might be like, I hear the theory that Ultron might be involved. I'm all for it, but I really hope they get Spader back.
Yeah. All right. So
big fan of the Amazing Spider-Man.
I know you text me quotes all the time from Spader, and it's
Yeah.
creepy. And last WandaVision note that I want to talk about: the commercials. Do you think those commercials are based on the Infinity Stones? Like, if all of this is a big thing to maybe get Wanda to re-put the stones together, but Wanda's subconscious is making her have people that are going to help defend her, like the twins and like Vision.
I don't know. I feel like the stone links are incidental, where it's more just that was a major influence on Wanda's growing up and where her powers come from. So I think I suspect the stones are more incidental. I think Marvel is just kind of brush those aside. I don't think they're going to play a part going forward.
I don't know. All right, on to DC news. So obviously Snyder Cut's coming out pretty soon. We got about a month left, less than a month. And the new commercial came out, the new trailer came out, and at the end of it is Jared Leto and his new look. And how many times did you watch this commercial, the trailer?
Twice.
All right,
I watched it twice. Yes. I watched it twice because I wasn't sure that I had heard correctly at the end when he has the Joker say that we live in a society.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously, this movie is internet-based and internet-themed,
yes.
So it only makes sense that they're going to touch upon very, very clever memes.
It's pretty based.
Yeah, we live in a society. My question is, did you hear the way that he said, like, society in other words? I think that he is missing his teeth, because in Suicide Squad he's got the metal grill, and
yeah,
I think
he does.
I think Batman crushed them out. So if you listen to the way he says a couple words with S's in them, he sounds like he might be missing his teeth, which I'm very, very excited about.
If we do like horrifically brutalized Joker, sure, I'm in for it. I'm gonna watch this regardless. I'm gonna have a lot of words to say about it, I'm sure. Well, you guys are gonna have to listen to that in some episode we record, I'm sure.
Yeah, true. All right, so Star Wars news. Recently, it came out that Rian Johnson's trilogy is not canceled. It is ongoing, and they're going to continue with it. And as a fellow lover of Last Jedi, I thought you would like to hear that news.
That's good news. That's good news. I will defend Rian Johnson as a filmmaker and as a Star Wars status quo shaker. And J.J. Abrams failed to rise to the challenge of the writer when he didn't roll with the punches and instead decided to tell 2 movies worth of story in 1 movie. It was pathetic, frankly.
Now we can't solely blame JJ, because obviously Kathleen Kennedy has her say, and there is a big megacorp behind them. But I agree with you that there is a better way to loop in the things that Rian Johnson was trying to go down, which is Rey can be a nobody. Other kids can have the Force. Wait, let's just play that. What's that? I'm in for the horrifically brutalized Jared Leto in general, probably my least favorite actor, especially with your least favorite actor. Name another movie that he's bad in, and don't say Suicide Squad. That does not count. I'll wait.
While we wait on.
Rian Johnson, I think that his whole thing is great. Like, you don't need to be somebody. You don't need to be a Skywalker. You don't need to be a Palpatine. Mm-hmm. Somebody can use the Force. There is a huge universe. Why is everything about the Skywalkers? I don't really. I want to see
the Skywalkers, man.
Yeah, and there's a chance that speaking of Star Wars in general, there's a chance that Mandalorian is going to get canceled because of the Gina Carano stuff.
I don't.
I mean, they could easily fold Mando into a different storyline and drop that whole show. That could be easy. They could never go back. Yeah,
I don't think that's going to happen.
And just other nerd news, because I didn't get a chance to talk to you about this last week. Did you happen to see the commercial during the Super Bowl with? Because I know you're a big fan of Super Bowl, but with Timothy.
Thank you for making the joke for me.
Yeah, with Timothy Chalamet as Edgar Scissorhands.
No.
So my favorite.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Anyway, this commercial starts, and it is little Edward Scissorhands, played by Timothy Chalamet, and Winona Ryder's in it as well. The Skrillex misfit. Okay.
I mean, 30 Seconds to Mars is just not. That's his band, right? That's awful. It's not good.
Yeah, but that's just not your music. He's not acting in that. That's just music, whatever.
Whatever you say.
Anyway, so he comes out, and Winona Ryder is his mom, and he's driving a Cadillac, and what they're selling is hands-free driving, obviously because he's got scissors for hands. But his name is Edgar Scissorhands, and it made me giggle so much. I watched that commercial probably 3 times, and if you haven't seen it, please check it out. You can easily Google Edgar Scissorhands or whatever, Timothy Chalamet. Do you have anything? The Suicide Squad music video. Okay.
Oh, they did cast more people in the D&D movie.
Oh yeah, like who?
Michelle Rodriguez.
Awesome. She's a
Justice
favorite
Smith.
Oh, cool.
Justice Smith, the kid from Detective Pikachu. So it's shaping up to be a pretty good time.
Yeah, they got some good people in there, so hopefully it's going to be a good series.
And Chaos Walking is officially being released on March 5th. I never thought it would happen. I thought I'd be dead before that. It's Spider-Man, what's his name? Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley in a post-apocalyptic alien adventure movie. And it was made in 2019, and they haven't said they were going to release it until recently. So it's going to be interesting. It's got some good people in it, but we'll see. Yeah. It's Doug Liman. It's written by Charlie Kaufman. So it's going to be...
I'm 100% in.
I'm in too, but it's going to be weird. Anyway, that's all the nerd news I got.
Yeah, that's good. I overlooked that completely, so that's cool. All right, well, let's get into the rest of the show. Now, what this part of the show is this is the creation part. And normally we would have a guest on our show and have them choose an idea that Dylan pitches out versus one that I pitch out. But what we do on this thing, because we're trying to speed up a little bit, and we would like a lot of guest interaction and anybody chatting with us or whatever, is Dylan is going to just read a text message of something that I have sent him throughout the week that is a story that either I think should be worked on or I thought was interesting or stupid. Who knows? And so Dylan's going to just read this thing out, and we're just going to work on this with your help. So once again, if you're watching this, shout out some ideas once this thing gets going. So go ahead, Dylan, take it away.
Yeah. So I'm going to read a few that I'm going to read 2 that we're not going to do on this episode, but I think are fun first, and I'm going to choose the one that we do. A super chef creates the first bite of food that breaks the taste barrier. It blows off taste buds and redefines flavor as we know it. That's fun. Yeah, I think that's a fun idea. Yeah. I just don't think it's fair that of all of our senses, only 2 of them have barriers. There's a sound barrier, and I guess there's like the light barrier, which is the speed of light, right? Like there should be barriers for all of our senses, and then something should bust those barriers. Okay, so save that for a few weeks when we develop that one.
Right. Taste busters or whatever.
Let's see, what else do we have here? I'm gonna save some of these. You've been texting me a lot over the past few days, and we got some fun stuff in here. Let's go to the one that we're gonna do today.
Okay, cool.
This is a dying billionaire loads his fortune of Bitcoin into external hard drives and puts them in a self-driving car, which is tooling around somewhere in the country. Whoever finds it gets the Bitcoin.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the idea of just that rat race mentality. Obviously kicked up into like the new millennium or the new timeline. Bitcoin is something that I don't understand whatsoever. And having a car full of Bitcoin might be funny or impossible. I don't even. Yeah, it's not physical, right? It's just like hard drive.
It's not. It's not physical. It's a cryptocurrency where you have like a wallet and you have an access code to that digital wallet, and that wallet has your Bitcoin in it, and you can transfer it by giving people secure codes. So what I imagine this is that it doesn't have to be Bitcoin. That's like an equivalency, but you have a huge amount of very valuable digital currency inside a self-driving car, anonymously driving around somewhere in the country. And whoever breaks into that car, whoever gets the hard drive or like hijacks the car or something, gets the Bitcoin. And I think for the sake of, do we want to make up a fake cryptocurrency? Or if we don't understand Bitcoin, how do we use it as a MacGuffin? Use it as inspiration. The only thing that's important about tech is that you make it internally consistent, and you show that you know as much or maybe more than the average person. And I think what I just described right there is more than the average person might actually like, no, you know what I mean? Oh, getting a really interesting text message right here.
Not from me.
No, it's not from you.
Wait, are you going to read this text message straight on?
No, it's from a Wikipedia article. They're trying to undercut this idea by saying it's a real thing. Apparently, so the secret is a treasure hunt. That's what it's called. So there's this thing called The Secret, and it's a treasure hunt started by a guy named Byron Price in 1982. He had 12 boxes of treasure in the United States and Canada in 82. And as of 2019, only 3 of them have been found.
So wait, we're going to use that instead of Bitcoin? Because it might be funny if people that don't know a lot find out that there's a car full of Bitcoin and try to track it down like it is a treasure box, not even realizing that it's just a digital coin. Yeah.
I just watched Johnny Mnemonic the other week. Actually, this is pretty funny.
Mnemonic.
Yeah, it's really out there, but it's actually surprisingly prescient for being made in like 95.
Okay, so we can get to whatever's inside this car later on. It doesn't really matter to start.
It is something incredibly valuable is inside this car. It's the equivalent of this rich guy's whole fortune, and we'll hand wave exactly what it is at a later date.
So wait, the car cannot go below 50 miles an hour?
He's combining a whole bunch of Keanu Reeves movies.
Are we going to go with this?
We could. I'd imagine this as kind of like Rat Race, but where Rat Race and Mad Max, where they have to like hunt down this car on the road, and maybe it's on like the highway system, so it never needs to slow down.
Yeah. What if we do the opposite? What if it's like it's always slow? Like it just cannot go higher than like 50 for some reason.
I mean, that would make it so that it could just be like in the suburbs.
Yeah,
which is fine by me.
It could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to work on the characters of who's going to get into this rat race, and then roughly the storyline of how this is going to all work out.
Yeah.
So, what year is this? When are we setting this?
The near future. I figured it's in a future where self-driving cars are far more around. Man, I'm having a brain fart today. Far more present.
You lost the word around?
Okay. No, I used around because I couldn't think of what else I was going to say. They are far more common.
Okay, prevalent maybe.
Prevalent. Yeah, sure.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
That's a good one.
So we have. So it's going to start with what? A guy who is dying, and he puts a bunch of stuff. See?
Yeah.
Told you. Yeah, I was right.
Yeah,
that's it. He puts a bunch of stuff in this car, and he sets his car to just go. And somehow he lets somebody know that this is happening, because how would people know, right?
It's a combination of Speed, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and Rat Race, where he makes like a big broadcast on his company's Facebook page or equivalent social media placeholder. And it's like, do you want Nelson Megabucks's billions of dollars worth of cryptocurrency? Hunt down the hard drive car. You call it hard drive.
Ooh, okay.
You call it hard drive. Right.
There we go. It's taking shape.
If Drive Angry wasn't already taken, we could call it Drive Hard.
No, that's probably taken by the Die Hard franchise.
What if we beat him to it?
That's true.
Oh wait, Drive Hard is a Nick Cage movie John Cusack movie, and Thomas Jane. Thomas Jane with an absolute insane like wig on his head. Huh.
Ooh. Okay, so we can't go with
Hard Drive. Hard Drive is fine.
Hard driven?
Nah.
Okay. All right. So we have Nelson Megabucks, and he throws and what is this, like a Tesla or something? Does this matter what kind of car it is?
Doesn't matter what kind of car it is. We can call it the equivalent of like who is another famous inventor.
Jefferson.
A Jefferson brand car, sure.
Thomas Edison. The Edison.
You're reading my mind there, Red. I was thinking The minute no, I am always
every story. You're like, I'm like, maybe it's like time travel, and you go, maybe it's post-apocalyptic, and there's truckers.
Yes, yeah. We each have our go-tos. Zach, you go to time travel. I go to post-apocalyptic Road Warrior.
That's fair. I want to play that board game. Okay, so wait, this is post-apocalyptic. Is that what you're saying?
Not post-apocalyptic. That's a good idea for a main character.
Accidentally spots it from the bus and has to get the money to fund their classroom. Oh, see, now we could be social justice warriors as well, right? Because we gotta get some money for the teachers.
Yeah, for kids.
Yeah, that's cool. Wait, is there a widespread?
I figure this is less apocalyptic and more like faith in the system has been shaken. So it's closer to that first Road Warrior movie where it's just not lawless, but way more rough. Like you get nudged on the highway by another car, and they're probably not going to, the cops are going to be like, "No, we got bigger problems to deal with."
Yeah, cool. All right. So how does this thing start?
I figure we start with. I like the idea. Yeah, that's good. So I like the idea that the teacher's the main character. Probably played by like Amy Adams or someone. Someone you generally see as like nice. Yeah, Akira style bike gang. Hell yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
You write these down. Yeah. But I figure we start with her, like, we see her prepping for the day, and there's like she's getting a cast on her phone or something like that, where it's, Nelson, it doesn't have to be Nelson Megabucks, but you know what I mean. So-and-so, rich billionaire tycoon. Yeah, sure, why not? Nelson Megabucks. Is that CKS or X?
CKS.
Okay, cool. Billionaire technology tycoon Nelson Megabucks on his deathbed declares a bounty hunt for his fortune. And then we explain the logistics of it, where it's like, it's his self-driving car, it's armored, and it's locked. And it's driving around the country, and whoever gets to it and gets the stuff out of it is entitled to his fortune. We see Amy Adams, maybe she's stopping before work to like, maybe she goes to like a coffee shop or like I'm imagining her like starting the day off, right? Where she overhears this in a cafe and she rolls her eyes because this idea is outlandish. And it's a publicity stunt because nobody's going to hunt down this car. And then the barista's like, I don't know, this Nelson Megabucks, he's kind of crazy. He's a crazy guy, and she kind of, brushes it off. I'm seeing this as a movie. I'm gonna kind of pace the story out as a movie. So, jeez, all right, no, email. Yeah, so she goes to her school where she goes through the metal detector, and she goes past the chain link fence. And she says hi to the security guard because this is the future, and it sucks. This is just a bad future, as far as it goes.
Yeah.
But she cares about her kids. She cares about her kids, damn it, and they care about her. Yeah, because they're good kids and they deserve better, and she does her absolute best. But it is a day where they get to go to like a local museum, or they're going If we set this somewhere in the Midwest, we have the justification that it's a small town and they're going to a big city where there's like an art museum. Like they're going to the Toledo Art Museum or the Dayton one or something like that. They are on the highway.
The West Des Moines National History Museum.
Yes. The WDNHM.
Of history.
The Woodham.
Classic.
So, and we see hints that, society is kind of cracking at the seams and breaking apart, and people are it's apathy. It's an apathy for the system. So I figure the highways are probably rougher than they normally are. Like she's friends with maybe the bus driver is like one of the security guys or like her TA or something like that, and he's having trouble just kind of maneuvering. And then do we want them to just stumble onto it? Like it happens to be in that part of the country?
Well, I like them stumbling onto it, but other people are like actively going for it.
Yes.
So maybe like while they're on the way to the museum, like somebody is attacking the car because it's obviously armored. So they have to like stop it from moving and stuff. So maybe they see that, and that's what gets Amy Adams thinking like, hey, I should maybe get some of this money.
I like that. What if they get to the museum normally? They have a normal field trip when we use the first like 10, 15 minutes as a way to get to meet the kids and Amy Adams' character. On the way back, they see that like maybe the highway is shut down because it's been going for. It's 5 years after the prize was announced and no one has found it, and they are going to the Megabucks Museum. It allows for that's true. I do kind of like the idea that time has passed since the announcement.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So Amy Adams is taking her school class to an art museum. Word about the prize. I don't think years. I think years might be a little long, but it's definitely been a few months. It's been long enough that people can verify it being out there. There have been unsuccessful attempts at it, and it's not so far that someone has managed to get it.
Yeah, maybe we'll say something like it started at the very beginning of the new year, and this is the beginning of like the school year. So it's like September or whatever.
Okay. So yeah, we can set it in like August, September.
Yeah.
So the prize was started in January, and now it's August. On the way back from the museum, they are kind of embroiled in an attempt on the car. Like the car is there. So
they witness an attack on the car, right?
Yeah, they witness it, and it probably causes trouble for them, like on the way back.
Like it closes the museum or blocks the road.
It blocks the road, or like they're moving south, and on the northbound lane up ahead, they see an explosion, and they're like, "What?" And then the car like zooms past in the other lane, followed by a bunch of people on motorcycles, and they're reloading like a shoulder-mounted like rocket launcher or something, and all the kids are like pressed up against the glass, and she's shouting for all of them to get down, and it's really intense because you don't want to see kids get hurt, you know.
Yeah.
And at this point in the movie, we've met a few of the kids. You've got the nerdy bookworm who's able to talk about all the museum exhibits. You've got the kid with a hard home life who takes it out on his peers, but he's a good kid inside, like that sort of thing. We get the girl who looks up to Amy Adams because she wants to be a teacher. We tug the heartstrings a little bit. And then, let's see, they get back to the school, and the kids are taken home. I don't think the kids are involved too much. I like the idea that she kind of hijacks the school bus to chase it, but I think if we wanted to be sympathetic, we have to have her like not actively put these kids in harm's way.
Yeah, she drops them off.
Yeah,
drops them off and goes right back.
She goes into the like the classroom, and she looks around at how bare the walls are, or it's just the kids. The only thing in the classroom are like the desks, a single computer that they could afford, and like the kids' hand-drawn art on the walls because they don't have anything else to buy for it. And then she goes back to her small apartment. We show her money problems at this point. And then does she get a call that involves her in this, or does she get the idea to go after herself?
I think when she sees it, she knows what it is, and she just decides to go and just get it.
Okay. Who does she enlist to go with her? Because if she's a teacher and she's dealing with people who are attacking does Megabucks want getting prized to necessitate violence? I think so. Yeah. I think part of the reveal at the end is that he set this up to show how violently society will pursue their own means.
Yeah, that also he owns a jail. So his mission is actually getting a lot of people arrested because they are publicly like shooting guns and everything.
He's a private prison person.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a good question he just asked. Is there another way to get it, or is it only for heist guys?
It's just in the car.
How armored is the car? Is it possible to stop it? Like can you move something in front of it and prevent it from moving?
Yeah, probably. Then it just goes in reverse.
Okay. Cool. So it's effectively just a rich guy's game of keep away, and at the end we reveal that it's not self-driven. He's been controlling it from his hospital bed.
Yep. But how does she get it though?
I figure she recruits someone who helps her out.
Yeah, chaperones.
Yeah.
So like obviously like one of the parents' dads is like The Rock.
Yes. Yeah. Actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, unless we want her to have like
Steve Buscemi.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. They recruit Steve Buscemi because maybe he's an auto mechanic guy that she knows as one of the parents of her kids. She gets the parents of her kids, like that's the heist team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And they all like somehow know either about this car or about how to do some of cryptocurrency. Like they all have like their own special talent when it comes to this specific mission.
Yeah, cool. I like that. I like that
and
a lot.
Amy Adams is the face of this new A-team.
She's the face.
The Hannibal.
Sure. Plan comes together. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good finale, I think.
I like that.
It's the PTA all shows up in their like civilian vehicles to Steve Buscemi's garage, and he's like, and she goes, "Did you get my idea?" And he goes, "Yeah, you better be paying me for this when we're done." And she goes, "There'll be plenty for you." And then we don't know what he's doing. And then at the end, they roll out in like a group of armored like minivans and little Honda Fits, whatever equivalent there is in the future.
Oh, so I thought it'd be cool as if like the only way to depower this car, turns out, is like an EMP. So he comes out in like a wooden like some kind of like machine that is not like powered by electricity, like a steampunk.
They're all digital. She's analog.
All steampunk minivans.
I like the idea that it is like everybody has an electric vehicle, and then a bunch of gas-powered vehicles are the optics of that are interesting because then you're having the gasoline and oil-powered vehicles come out as the good guys.
Yeah, no one do that. Maybe just bicycles.
What if it's just a lesson about like getting people together, and it's just they wind up kind of corralling it into the suburbs where they blockade it at the end, and then at the end they have to somehow dissuade the violent peoples.
Okay, see?
All right, that works for me.
I like that.
That is just movie science-y enough for me to say, yeah, that works.
Yeah, because I like the idea of like other people trying to like blow it up and crash it, and it's just not really working. And Amy Adams, because maybe she's like a science teacher, whatever. She's obviously the smartest one of the movie, and she's like, we just have to stop it. That's it. We just have to stop it. And that's when they kind of all overload their Tesla minivans and then cause a mini EMP to slow this thing down or to stop this thing.
Yeah, and then. I like the idea that they slow it down, and then the last thing they have to do is actually crack it open, and they have to hold off this motorcycle gang.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So So what are we getting to with the first arc? So the first arc is learning about Amy Adams, learning about the school and her own needs, learning about the rich Nelson Megabucks and his idea to lotterize violence.
Yeah,
is lotterize?
Sure.
Can we use that?
I'm not gonna. Okay, cool. I'm not gonna tell you no.
Thank you. Then, I hate when you do that. What's the arc that we're getting to?
I think the first act ends when they kind of go after it in like a like a half-hearted way and get really roughly dissuaded by a certain group of people. And then they decide, like, we almost had this thing. We just need to, like, also screw those guys. We need a way for them to. Well, I don't know if we need it yet, but we need a way for them to overcome a bike gang.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
They'll do it with teamwork.
Friendship. The real megabucks were the friends we made along the way.
The real bike gang are the friends we made along the way.
Yeah, sure. Works for me. You really gonna kill a bunch of parents?
Yeah. I mean, no.
No, wait.
Okay, so what is the middle third? Like what? All right, so we have the first third, which is them building up the idea, getting the motivation together, and then they go out and they decide as a group they're going to go get this money, and that's like the first third. The second third is, I guess, the first failed attempt, right?
Yeah, they have a failed attempt. They get really close. They interact. They find out who else is chasing them. We introduce a ticking clock. She is working for this. This is the weekend, so she has Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday to get this thing.
Because she needs money, or else the school's going to close or something.
No, I mean, maybe she has bills coming up. Maybe it's just that she's decided to do this, and she has until Monday before she has to go back to her life. And who knows when she's going to have the motivation to do this.
Yeah, for real.
This is insane.
Right, cool. So
I think we highlight that.
After they decide to go get the money, they have their failed attempt. Then they learn about all the other bad guys, which is probably why their first attempt failed, is because there's constantly other people attacking this thing. So then what? They go and they enlist Steve Buscemi's help, or
I think the first act. Scientist. I think a good portion of the first act is them getting it together, and I think the initial incident, like for the first part of the second act, is them failing to get it the first time.
Okay, so then the second act of the movie is going to be the failed attempt, the rebuilding of their army, and then stopping the car. And then the last bit is getting the Bitcoin out of the car?
Yeah, I think so. And finding out, I think we do that reveal where it's not literally in the car. They have to still take it to the guy. And it's like, nothing's easy. You got to verify it with me. This is my location. I've also now that you've unlocked the car, it's like a time release broadcast where now everybody knows you have it.
Cool. And because they did the EMP, now the car doesn't move. So now they got to figure out a way to like get the car to move and drive it to this thing.
Yeah.
While now that they're driving it, other cars are blowing it up, and maybe the armor drops off or something because
this is when I like the idea of the EMP to slow the car down, but I think Buscemi's other project was to armor coat the bus.
Nice.
So it's like, how are we going to get this to Megabucks? And then Buscemi calls, is like, hey, your next project's ready. And they go, and it's a school bus, and it's been armored up. And then the last bit of the movie is them driving to wherever he is while being attacked and holding off everybody.
Now, are they pulling the car with the armored bus?
I figured they break out. There's something inside, like a big hard drive, or something. And the rock just tears it out.
Okay, cool. So there's something in the car that they got to take to a location. Okay.
Yeah. They don't.
And I guess once you get that out of the car, then like a universal tracking beacon starts blipping on everyone's screen, right? And they're like, yes, we got to do this now.
I'm going to say, I think we should do this as a 2-act structure, where the first act is getting the car, second act is getting the hard drive to Megabucks.
Okay. So you think that whole second act is going to be as long and
You cutting out?
No?
Slow down a little bit.
Are you?
Can you see me waving my hands? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That means
Yeah.
you're anxious. I remember those times.
Okay.
No, what I was saying was, do you think that that second half, if you do that second half, that's going to be as long and as exciting as the first half, which is so far building up the momentum, building a team, making failing an attempt, learning about the bad guys, PTA minibus EMP, and you think that's the whole first half of the movie?
I think that's the first half because I think if we pace this correctly, we'll get to the point where they blow the car. They don't blow the car up, but they slow the car down enough that it there it is. Thank you, Red.
Yep.
Broadcast.
Sometimes it's that.
Thank you.
That's
No,
all we
that's
need,
why we
Fred.
do this. That's why we do this in chat, because oftentimes when you just throw the suggestions out there, it can sometimes just be exactly what we need. Where the hard drive is, yeah, that might be. We'll keep that in mind. Like they have to physically remove his pacemaker,
And
so they
that's
have to kill
the hard
him.
drive?
They have to kill him in order to open the hard drive safe.
That's not a bad. That's not
That's
bad
not a bad
at all.
end one. Yeah.
And then you have the scene where Amy Adams has to decide if she's gonna put the dude's chest open to get a key or a code or it was like a fortune
it's literally
cookie.
just it's like one of those magnet locks where it's just you tap it to it and unlocks it. But I'm thinking what happens is if we pace this well enough, you get to the halfway point where they slow the car down, they like drive it, they somehow mess with its programming to swerve it into a ramp, and it turns over and flips over, and it's done. And you're like, huh, it's only been 50 minutes. What's the rest of this movie going to be? They open up, there's a hard drive in there, and a screen on it comes on, and it's Megabucks in like a hospital bed, and it's like, congratulations on completing the first part of my trial. It's taken longer than I thought. The second part started.
Okay.
Bring it to me, and I'll unlock it for you. Unfortunately, everybody knows where you are. And then like a little like radio light goes on and the video feed cuts out. And all it displays is GPS coordinates. And it's like they look it up on their phone, and it's like a hospital in like an urban center or a rural or a private hospital. It's a dude's mansion.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But it's far away though.
Yes, it's a ways away.
Yeah.
So now not only do they have to evade everybody attacking them, they have to do it legally so the cops don't pull them over. And who knows if the cops are in on it or willing to do it. Yeah.
Okay, I like that a lot.
They have to get the science nerd key to Ace Frog Dissection to do the operation.
Oh, geez, that'd be so cool. All right, so that means
that's wrong. I like it.
And that's also the one that looks up to Amy Adams too. So Amy Adams like really coaching her on like, hey, you can do this.
Yeah.
All right, I like that. So, okay, so now we have to build out what kind of, I guess we're going to have some gangs, right? Are we going to have some cool gangs that after this?
Yeah.
And then we also have to figure out what happens when they get to the pacemaker.
Yeah.
Because he's the key. So I am liking them having to cut that out. So
yeah, me too.
All right, so they get this stuff, and now they're going back. Who are some of the gang members that we're going to play with?
So right now we have a Road Warrior gang, which is going to be toned down a little bit. Like they're not so crazy as Mad Max, but they're getting there. I'm imagining that as like, what's up?
So are they Road Warriors because they live in post-apocalyptic, or are they say themed to the movie and they're just kind of weirdos?
I don't know that we do that. I feel like that's too much of like a wink, wink, nod for us. You know what I mean?
All right, so we're
unless you really like it.
Well, my thing is like it would be cool to have a bunch of different kinds of gangs, and if one shows up and they're kind of road warrior, and you're like, oh, I guess this is a post-apocalyptic world, but then there's also like future text and like a baseball gang, and you're like, oh, they're just so, that's just their thing.
What if they do encounter like a road warrior gang, and every time they show up among other people, everybody else is like dressed in actual gear, and they're making fun of them? Like, who brought the LARPers? Who brought the nerds?
All right, cool.
Yes, and one of the gang members is a dropout student from Amy Adams' old class.
Obviously.
We have Road Warrior gang. We have a biker gang, which is more Akira kind of like colorful bike gang rather than like Hell's Angels.
So wait, is it clown themed?
Ugh. I don't like clowns, but if you want to put a clown themed biker gang in there, we can.
What is something that's close to clown but nothing like clown?
Mimes.
No, that's too close to clown.
It's too close to clown.
If you look at a mime, you're like, is that a mime or a clown? You have two choices. There's nothing else. What else? What's like another genre of people that look like something you can mimic, like welders but not welders. Uh, like fast food restaurant employees, or
how out there do we want to make this? Because if they're all themed gangs, that makes it pretty goofy. I was seeing it less as like
gangs are goofy, dude. Gangs are goofy.
That's fine.
Like, hey, you wear the same color, and I'll protect you.
All right, I get it.
Think of the Warriors and how cool that was, and no one thought that movie was gimmicky at all. Dude.
Cowboys and rollerbladers. That's what Red's saying.
All right, but cowboy bikers.
Cowboy bikers, and they're like the Iron Stallions or something. They refer to all their motorcycles as like their metal horses.
Yep. But they're all Kid Rock fans.
Kid Rock will have a cameo. I don't know. And then he'll get his face blown off or something.
He is a cowboy, baby.
He was born a rich kid in Detroit, and he grew up on an estate. He's a liar. Just like Jeff.
Look at you taking shots at Kid Rock.
Oh, don't feel bad for Kid Rock. He's doing fine.
Yeah, I know. He's fine. All right. So where are we at here?
So I'm just getting down to the plot points, yeah. But I think it's a good idea to flesh out all these other characters. Does Amy Adams have a love interest in this?
No.
Why not?
Because why would she? Why does she?
Why not? What's
the point?
Because romance adds a dimension to the story.
Dude. This is a story about a teacher who needs money. You're going to give her a romantic interest for some reason.
We don't have to.
What's the point?
What if it's Steve Buscemi? I don't
Amy
know. I'm just throwing
Adams
stuff out now.
No.
Hey,
maybe.
I get the feeling you're throwing shade at Steve Buscemi, and that man does not deserve it.
No, I love Steve Buscemi. I'm the one who suggested he's in this project, and I'm going to be the one who emails him and asking him if he'll do it. So I'm fine with that.
Let's go through and figure out who these characters are and who's joining her. So I have The Rock as the gym teacher.
Right.
I have Steve Buscemi as the shop teacher. What? Why not?
Rock's obviously the gym teacher. Make him like home ec or something.
Make The Rock the home ec teacher?
Yeah, he could just be built and also so. Amy's wife is a tech worker. Oh, okay. That's actually not a bad idea.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. She does not accompany Amy on the trip, though. I think she's the Overwatch.
Yeah. See? I told you.
Sure. Okay. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. And this Red Flanagan is the one who has our best suggestions. They know
that's true.
So we're going to go with that. All right, so The Rock's in home ec. Steve Buscemi is the woodshop teacher. We have Amy Adams' wife who can hack computers, but doesn't really want to get involved with this, but will because she loves Amy Adams, and why not? Yeah. Who else do we got? We have we need the comedic relief.
Michael Pena.
Who's what's that? Did you see that one David Spade movie about Missy?
Oh God, I didn't watch it, but I know about it.
What's that actor's name who plays Missy?
Laura Lapkus?
Yeah, I like her. So
funny.
let's put her in there as like a math teacher or something. Yeah. I mean, she's a really enthusiastic cafeteria worker. That's cool.
She's like, I'm making sure these kids are fed.
Or kids she works in like the car shop area. Do high schools still have car shops?
I mean, we didn't, but I mean, this is the grim, dark future of the 21st century, so who knows?
Yeah. What are
I
some
mean,
basic what are some basic classes that we're going to have in the future that we probably don't have now?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Some sort of computer literacy. Lauren Lapkus
Okay.
could be like the computer science teacher.
All right, or Lauren Lapkus is just I like Jane Lynch as a lunch lady. That's way better. Maybe Lauren Lapkus is Amy Adams' wife, who is like the tech nerd or whatever.
Sure.
All right. So what else gets thrown into this thing?
Let's see.
Well, the second half is the race to Megabucks, and what happens? Also, one of these parents probably has to die, right?
Oh yeah, someone dies.
Is it The Rock?
Could be. Yeah. I'm trying to think of how we could do that in like a comedically tongue-in-cheek way, but I'm not coming up with anything yet.
Yeah,
Chat, hit us up. Okay, so what I have so far for the second act is they unlock the car by unlocking the car triggers a broadcast which tells everybody where the hard drive is. That's the second phase of the game that he never told anybody about. Video says they have to get it to him. They Stu Buscemi armored up the school bus, so they take the school bus and evade the gangs. They reach the hospital and Megabucks says that the only way to really open the hard drive is to connect his pacemaker to the port or whatever.
Do they tell him that, or
Megabucks tells them that when they get there? He's like, "Hey, congratulations! You did stage 1, you did stage 2, stage 3." And he like taps his chest or something.
Yeah.
And they're like, "I don't know what that means. What are you doing?" And he's like, "There's an RFID chip inside my pacemaker. It doesn't work. Skin breaks the contact. You have to make it in direct contact." And they're like, "What are you talking about? You have to kill me to do it." And then maybe it seems like we kind of set Amy. Who is Amy Adams? Does she teach history, or could she teach biology? And she has to very carefully, like, they don't kill him, but she manages to peel away parts over it, and then they just kind of like boop. They do it without killing him, and that's kind of like the victory for her.
If she teaches biology, but maybe throughout this process she gets like one of her hands injured, and then she has to like kind of talk her pupil into how to cut open this chest, which I think is
a student
cool.
teacher.
Yeah. Wait, The Rock mixes explosive and is forced to detonate in a car he's driving to block a road so gangsters don't catch the bus. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, I'm into that. So he sacrificed himself, which means we have to give The Rock a wife because his kid can't be parentless. But we'll talk about that later.
We'll figure it out. He has a wife that's mentioned.
I didn't read that one.
Principal catches him cooking.
Good.
Principal catches him cooking explosives in the cafeteria kitchen before he leaves, and The Rock has to deck him and put him in a closet. Listen, John, you're not teaching chemistry anymore. You're teaching home ec. You're doing it's a chemical reaction. So is yeast and sugar. John, you can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After the boarding school in Stanford, you're not allowed to do that anymore, John. I'm sorry. Yeah. Like, I was just trying to teach those kids a lesson. Well, they learn it the hard way. Wait, so The Rock's name is John?
Sure. I don't know. John The Rock Johnson. Oh, John The Rock Dwayneson.
Okay, so the last half of the movie is going to be them with all the gangs after them. Where do they find the car? Like where in the world?
I like it being in suburban America somewhere, like or rural America. They just track it down like a cornfield in like Kansas.
Yeah, so I guess it's close to wherever they are or wherever they're going in the beginning.
Yeah, so, Iowa works. Right, cool. Iowa has a lot of rolling hills and a lot of like highway.
All right, so Iowa, and then that's where they stop the car. And then where is Megabucks' body?
Chicago?
Chicago? Well, that's close. Chicago's close to Iowa.
We don't want it to be like, well, it depends. Iowa City is like a 3-hour drive. I don't think it needs to be super far because we don't want this last half to take very long. You know what I mean? In universe, we want it to be very kind of fraught.
All right, so he's in Chicago.
He's in, or Joliet or some suburb. I don't know. I'm looking at a map right now.
That's okay. So the race to Chicago. Now they get to Chicago and they learn about the last bit, which is they have to cut out this guy's pacemaker that has the ultimate key on it. And
except
Amy Adams,
she's like, we don't have to fake. We don't have to. It's Amy Adams and Steve Buscemi who are both kind of and Lauren Lapkus on like the radio where it's like, you don't have to do actual contact. If you have a standard USB micro cable, you can simulate contact by hitching it up to the ports. You just have to expose the port. She's like, how do I do that? And it's like, well, I mean, you're a biology teacher. You're in a hospital. It's like, my hand's messed up. And then her student teacher is like, I've been trained to do it. I can do this. And she's like, I'm going to walk you through it. And then in the meantime, I figure at this point, they've kind of given themselves some time between them and the gang. So that way they're not also trying to hold off the gangs outside.
Yeah.
And do we need to do how they escape from the hospital? Or is there some sort of like...
No, I think there's a thing with like maybe if they're in a certain distance of the pacemaker, then that tracking thing stops because it's like, okay, you're obviously here, whatever. And he isn't, Moneybucks isn't interested in dying by like a gang. So he'll wait until somebody's close and it just stops.
My question is, if a bunch of gangs have been building up to try and get this and they know some random people have gotten it, just because the contest is called off doesn't necessarily mean that they are safe. So we need somehow to get these gangs off their tail.
Yeah.
If Megabucks is a private prison guy, he can just contact his buddies in the Justice Department and be like, as many people have been chasing us down, I got all these facial scans, so now they're in all the criminal databases. And that's kind of like the bittersweet ending. They don't change They don't change the system.
They just round up all the people and put them in jail?
Not necessarily, but it's like, private security at Megabucks' place like gives them an escort back to where they need to go. And Megabucks is grateful. Like, when you showed up, I realized I wasn't quite ready to die yet. So I appreciate you showing me that. And then Megabucks puts his money towards maybe fixing some of the problems he causes.
Yeah, so they don't kill Megabucks, which is obviously his plan. They can do it without killing him, which so he turns the tracker on, but puts it in like Rio de Janeiro or something. So people just
It's like back when the lottery was a thing. It was considered bad luck to win. So and then it's like, hey, she gets a call from Lauren Lapkus. Hey, what are you doing in Brazil? I thought you were in Chicago. And it's like, what? And then okay.
Yeah. All right, that's cool.
And then so they take the money and split it in the district and, that sort of thing. It's like, the kids all have like new calculators or something.
Yeah, and security in the school is tighter to keep the gangs out.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we calling this thing? Is it still Hard Drive?
I kind of like Hard Drive as a title.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
Because Drive Hard is taken.
Yeah, obviously, it's a dumb
name. I like it still, but... That's fine.
Drive Hard?
I'm not attached to it.
No, Drive Hard does not make sense here.
It's fine. It's fine.
All right, I like Hard Drive. Okay, everyone, you were just watching a full hour of me and my best friend Dylan making up in our story, and this one apparently is called Hard Drive. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of time and kind of work on this thing and reach out to Steve Buscemi and Amy Adams and Lauren Lapkus to see if they'd be interested in doing this project. Hard Drive is better than Drive Hard. See, I told you, dude. Red Flanagan knows all the stuff. That's
maybe perfect. Maybe that means it should be Hard Drive turns into Drive Hard.
Oh,
anyway,
that's the whole. Either way, special thank you to Red Flanagan for throwing out some amazing ideas. And as always, if you're watching something we're doing, just tell us what we should be doing better or give us a cool suggestion. If you want to see the weird stuff that we do make and all the stuff that I keep getting Dylan to produce, go to somenobodies.com and check out all of our weird stuff. If you want to help us produce stuff and then we get to say your name in a very weird way, hopefully correctly, please go to patreon.com/somenobodies and you could be people like Scott Curtis from Behind the Bits, who is an award-winning podcaster and a great interviewer, especially of comedians. Also, Sarah Takacic or Tanya Sheck, our East Coast friends. And if you like any kind of podcast whatsoever, it doesn't have to be ours or Scott Curtis. It could be any podcast. Please let's do it on Listener app. And if you want to find out the cool stuff about them, such as reading words instead of just hearing the words, you can find them on Instagram at The Greatest Podcast App. Also, Scene Snobs. Thank you guys so much for having us on here. Super cool to be part of a bunch of group of some really cool and clever people. And we love you guys so much. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And hey, reach out to us. I have been Zach. He's been Dylan, and you guys have been great. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Take it easy out there. Be well. I'm bringing it back, Zach.
That's okay. I'm okay with it.
All right, here we go. Bye.
Thank you.